Once, this machine shone with beauty, but karma for past sins sent it to a child for 2 weeks. And as you can see, this poor guy doesn't give up, even though many parts were lost. Now I will engage in idiocy. I will invent a spaceship from crap and sticks. Fuel will be located here, and a particle accelerator that powers the main rocket engine. It will also provide power to ion thrusters. I know that sometimes people who are not particularly familiar with space technology watch my channel. Ion thrusters are the main propulsion system for the International Space Station, and they are used in most satellites. I will take the accelerator from an old CD drive. Usually such devices are disassembled easily, but not this time. This plastic frame does not come off because this cover holds it, and removing it without breaking it is unlikely to work. Who came up with such a stupid design? Oh no, the idiot is me, but still it's an unconventional disassembly method. Besides the engine, there are some interesting details here. Here is this system of lenses and lasers. Oh, a word of warning about lasers for those who want to make a laser engraver out of them. They are quite powerful here, and you can easily damage your eyes with them. Moreover, this laser is infrared. That means it emits light that is invisible to the eye, and some people look at it thinking it's not working, but in the end, they damage their retina. By the way, what surprised me is that everything is well made. Bolts and reliable connections everywhere, and here they freaking glued it. So, what useful things did I manage to extract from the CD drive? I'm going to work on assembling electronics. Of course, I'm not planning to do it well. What's the point of doing this crap well and spending your time on it when there are such excellent things like alcoholism and depression? Now I'll work on the fuel system. In my box I found 2 excellent fuel canisters and reliable caps. I'll make a fuel line with valves. I'll wrap the hoses with reinforcing tape for reliability. Fuel leaks must be avoided at all costs. Refueling is a very responsible process. I'll use heptyl and rocket fuel. First, heptyl, it's a bipropellant. The most important thing is not to spill it, otherwise it'll be a disaster. Damn it. Now I'll have to evacuate half of the city. If you're not aware, heptyl is used as an oxidizer in space rockets, and it's very dangerous, so dangerous that people are afraid to even attempt to study it. I found one record from declassified documents. They took a sample of heptyl and placed it in a refrigerator. After a year, upon inspecting the container, an unknown life form was discovered that had spread throughout the entire volume of the container. Further research was abandoned and the material was destroyed. Now it's time to proceed with refueling the second tank with rocket fuel. You might have thought I'm an idiot for using such dangerous substances at home. I am indeed an idiot, but safety precautions are more important than my idiocy. Of course it's not heptyl or rocket fuel, it's a chemical light. It's not entirely safe either, and caution must be exercised when working with it, as all the ingredients are toxic. And of course I'm installing valves. I'm trying to put all the parts into the machine. It's not right from a construction standpoint, but I like it that way. Everything seems to have fit in and looks good. As they say, if you don't praise yourself, no one else will. I really don't like the bumper here. I'll remove it. Just going to cut out the fog lights from the bumper. I also need to take care of the headlights because at night you won't see a thing. And it seems to me that a LiDAR should be installed here. There's no real purpose to it. It's just going to look nicer. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. It will motivate me to create more content like this. An analog instrument panel in this form is definitely not needed for this car. I'm using adhesive. As we've seen before, it's used in high-tech CD drives, so it should work here as well. The lens for the laser seems to have been made to fit the speedometer perfectly. I'll also install multifunctional screens on the sides. And, of course, the heart of the car will be artificial intelligence.
No, I am your father.
This intelligent assistant turned out scarier than in the movie, but no worries, I'll work on its upbringing later. Please leave comments about what you think. It's preferable to write about how much you liked everything. It may sound hypocritical. I'm just trying to have a little bit of joy, because lately there's been very little cause for joy. We need to prepare for the analog future that we are now striving hard for. I'm laying down the carpet on the floor and applying special glue to the surfaces where it will be placed. I made the carpet, bought it in a store in the manicure department. Don't get the wrong idea, it's not like I'm a regular there. I was wondering how girls go to the bathroom with such fluffy nails. Please write in the comments what you think about this type of manicure for women. It looks very realistic, and you can even install seats. Now it's time to install the jet engine. I think you might have thought that only crazy people install jet engines in cars, but you'll be surprised to learn that Chrysler was actively developing cars with jet engines in the 1960s, and it was a very promising direction. At that time, it was believed that soon all cars would be like that, but they didn't take into account a significant drawback of such engines. They emit a huge amount of nitrogen oxide, which acts as a poison to humans. The development of such cars was discontinued, but this type of engine became the basis for the main engine of the Abrams tank. Listen to the sound of that motor. I'm going to install the engine here, which involves cutting part of the body and removing the trunk. Your lucky phone didn't save the video of me cutting the trunk. Unfortunately, I don't have proper tools, so I'm improvising. I used a manicure file to cut the trunk. I hope you don't suspect anything unusual about my orientation, because first a manicure cover and now a manicure feel. I also need to cut this part to fit the engine. After I finish the engine, I'll get to cutting. If you can't see the connection when you look at these objects, you're a healthy person. I'm going to install it here just because it fits here. Remember, I have that crappy saw and I'll have to use it. It still doesn't fit. I'll have to cut this part of the trunk too. I have an electric saw for plastic, which is also not great, but it works somehow. Smart people usually measure 7 times and cut once. For me, it's the other way around. Instead of the rear bumper that I don't like, I'll make a ventilated grille. It suits the car's style better. By the way, it's time to give the car a name. I'm not very creative. Maybe you can suggest one. All that's left is to paint everything, and I decided to paint over the old paint to save time and money. The plan turned out to be garbage and a waste of time. I'll do it properly. Remove the old paint down to the metal, apply a degreaser, primer, paint and lacquer. When I counted how much everything cost, the whole synagogue cried for 2 days. In conclusion, I'll make ion thrusters instead of wheels from a plastic bottle cap. All the money went into paint. I also need to set up fuel lines and shock absorbers, otherwise the car won't fly. Such an occult ritual should be done with the other wheels. This strange arrangement of parts is not due to my alternative engineering views, but rather my limited options for fitting them in. You might be wondering why I've modified such a beautiful car. Well, you can always revert it, but you know what you can't get back? The desire to do all of this, especially when no one finds it interesting. Be happy, or at least try to,